Oh my gosh, this is gonna give me trauma. It was an old man. And I remember he pulled up to the Chick-fil-A. I worked at the Parks Mall, and I was at the Chick-fil-A, which is in the food court. So it's very open. This man came through my line, and I took his order, and I noticed that his hand wasn't really working. And I told him, hey, if you want, I can go help you to put the food over there. I've always been like that.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't a requirement for Chick-fil-A workers to be nice, I would have done that for him because I saw that he couldn't, you know? And so I grabbed his food, I took it over to his table, and he said, thank you so much, young lady. I said, oh, you're welcome. Or my pleasure. That's what they say. And so, yeah, I went back and I kept working. And the next day he came back and I took his order again and I helped him take his stuff to the table that he was sitting at. And he tells me, how about you sit down and eat with me? And I told him, no, I'm working. And so I told him, I'm sorry, I can't. At this time, I felt really bad for not eating with him because I was like, pobrecito, he's old. He probably doesn't have anyone and I can't eat with him. So I felt bad. I went back and this became a reoccurring thing where he would come back and it started getting really bad to where he would hold up our line so that I could take his order. And they would have to be like, okay, next person. And he'd say, I want her. And so I was like, okay, he just thinks I'm really nice. I remember one day he told me, hey, you're off. Can you sit down and eat with me? And I said, you know what? Sure. And so I sat down and he had offered me one of the fries that he'd bought. And I told him, okay. I sat there and I talked with him and he looks at me and he says, you know what? You remind me of my dead wife. And I said, oh, that is not cute.
Yeah,
he said, your eyes, they're so beautiful, like my dead wife. And I was starting to get creeped out, you know? And so I was thinking, oh my gosh, this man's kind of creepy. At the same time, I felt bad. I've always been, how do you say it? An empath?
An empath.
An empath. Yeah, I've always been an empath. So in my head, I'm thinking, pobrecito, but that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Like, vete a ser pobrecito pa allá.
Yeah.
Like,
and
not
so,
with me.
Yeah. And so when I thought it couldn't get any weirder, he goes, you know what? Let me take you out on a date. And he told me, do you want to go watch the movies? And I said, no, my mom's picking me up. I started getting nervous.
Did he know your age?
Yes, I told him I'm 15.